Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour. Brought to you by TJS Ceramics, Posh Boutique in the Bridges at 57th, The Sky in T, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Jesse Moffitt Entertainment, and Sonny's Pizzeria. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire arts and entertainment conversations. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Welcome, Sioux Empire arts and entertainment lovers. This week's show covers comedy, music, and stage. Later, we'll hear from actor Emily Wilson, who is in next week's Monstrous Little Theater's production of Independence. In the middle, we're going to be joined by Sonja O'Steen from SoDak Music Magazine. Coming up in just a few minutes, Amy Mathis and Lindsey Madsen from Junior League of Sioux Falls, as they'll talk about next week's Last Comic Standing competition. Plus, we'll tell you who or what gets this week's honorable mention, as well as choose another winner of pizza with a podcaster. But first, let's pop the cork on this bubbly little show.
Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day and your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party.
You know the rules to the Weekend Eve toast. What you're drinking out of is probably dependent upon what you're putting into it, and that's going to be dependent possibly upon time or situation. No matter what, though, okay? We've had a really, really weird, long, extended vacation, extended and overextended their family stay winter. So, just to the possibility of spring this weekend for Easter and grilling. So lift 'em high and toast. Clink those glasses, mugs, whatever. Clink 'em to spring. The Weekend Eve Toast is brought to you by The Sky in Tea. The Sky provides all caps fun, F-U-N, and that is best had with friends. Put those in caps too, should you? Have fun playing darts, shooting pool, listening to great live music from local musicians. Maybe you're going to have fun singing at karaoke, or have fun testing your knowledge at trivia, which, by the way, is tomorrow night, and the theme will be movies, movies, movies. Maybe you need some room to have a bigger party. You know, maybe it's a company party, you're going to have a benefit, something along that line. Whatever the need, the Sky's big back room fits the bill. And no matter what's going on at the Sky, it's local and it's lively. It's time to choose a lucky winner of Pizza with a Podcaster. Everyone that follows the Dave Holly Hour on Facebook or Instagram is automatically entered to win a free pizza from Sonny's Pizzeria. We pick a winner each week, and this week we say congratulations to Casey Kelderman. We'll be in touch with you, Casey, to get you all set up with some jowl-dropping, show-stopping, thin-crust pizza. Pizza with a Podcaster is brought to you by Sonny's Pizzeria, right across from USF at 26th and Waltz, and Sonny's at 81 on South Phillips. Check out the very fun and incredibly flavorful menu online, sonnyspizzeria.com. Honorable mention. Oh, this past week. Last Saturday night, my love and I went to the Augustana University Theater Department's production of The Drowsy Chaperone. Oh, my goodness. What an absolutely enjoyable show. And a little bit campy and so forth, but just damn fun. And everything. You know, what was cool was the majority of people that were in that production had a number or had, you know, a decent scene very few people just in ensemble, but those people did great too. And what was wonderful about it was the choreography. Lisa Conlon, who has been on this show before, choreographed it, and so much had to go into that. And they had tap dancing. They even had one of the leads on roller skates. Just phenomenal. So if you missed it, well, shame on you, but keep track of things next time around, all right? Hey, later in the show, actor Emily Wilson. In the middle, it'll be Sonja O'Steen from South Dakota Music Magazine. Up next, Amy Mathis and Lindsey Madsen, organizers of the Junior League of Sioux Falls Last Comic Standing Competition, on the Dave Holly Hour.
Check out the new ceramic studio in Sioux Falls, conveniently located off Kiwanis Avenue on 5th Street. TJS Ceramics. We have thousands of classic vintage ceramic mold items and several new items too. TJS Ceramics offers classes through the Sioux Falls Community Education Program and special open studio nights every Thursday evening. Bisques, studio time, or finished custom items are available. Visit TJS Ceramics Studio in Sioux Falls today.
Helping women feel empowered and confident is what Posh Boutique at the Bridges at 57th does, while supplying high-quality clothing that fits your lifestyle, personality, and price point. Whether you want comfy and cozy, casual attire, or something for a special occasion, Posh provides quality, selection, and value. They carry sizes extra small to 3X and have something appropriate for any age. Feel empowered and get confident. Posh Boutique at the Bridges at 57th.
Arts and entertainment lovers, you hit the mark. It's the Dave Holly Hour.
Welcome back, everybody. You know what I like to say right off the bat, but you know what's going to be a little different this time. Typically, we say, that it's great to talk Sioux Empire arts and entertainment. Yes, that part of this conversation is going to be very true. But normally, we're talking to people that are actually doing the performing, the entertaining, etc. But occasionally we have to make sure we get in the administrative side of it. And yes, they are new guests to the Dave Holly Hour. From Junior League Sioux Falls, we have Amy Mathis. Hello, Amy.
Hi, Dave.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Excellent. And also, Lindsey Madsen. How are you?
I'm doing great, Dave. How are you?
Oh, if I were any better, I'd be twins. We have you here, though, because in just 8 days, it's going to be a laugh, hopefully a laugh a minute.
Yeah.
But it's also going to be a local or regional comedian, although they pretty well like to be called comics, all inclusive, that will be going home with $500.
Yep,
Yes, that's right, because it's the Junior League Sioux Falls Last Comic Standing event. It's taking place at the district. And if I'm not mistaken, if you want a ticket, you better get one quick, right?
That's right, Dave. Tickets are selling fast. You
That's
would want to go.
Always good.
Yeah, you'd want to go to the districtsf.com website to get your tickets today. They're $35 if you buy a single ticket, $60 if you buy a double, or $250 for a table of 8.
There we go. A lot of tables 8 so far?
Yeah.
Good.
We've been selling a lot
great.
Of tables.
Yeah,
Everybody
that's always a fun time.
Seems to want to sit together.
So tell us a little bit about how this is going to play out throughout the night then.
Sure. So the doors open at 6:30, so everybody can start flooding in at 6:30. Blake Rave and the Unmentionables will be opening for the comedy show at 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Blake Rave will be starting at 7 o'clock, and then the actual event, the show, will start at 8 p.m.
All right. So people also have time to enjoy the district quite a bit too, don't they? Yeah.
Yes,
looking forward to this. And why am I looking forward to it so much? Well, I happen to be your MC that night.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I truly am looking forward to it. I first got the inkling about this from one of the competitors, but a long time ago, Chris Fryer had been on this show, and then he said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing this?" And I said, "Boy, howdy." And then you two got in touch with me, and it's like, okay, we're going forward on this. And it's been fun to see all the submissions, because despite the fact that I didn't have anything to do with the selection, I got the submissions first, so I could take a peek at them and so forth and get a good feel for everybody. And Lindsey, I know that you happen to be a friend of Chris's. So when you saw stuff, what were you thinking about? Here's my friend, and he's a comic. How am I going to remain just neutral on this?
Neutral and impartial. Well, I'm lucky to have seen a lot of these comics already a few times, and so I'm familiar with their material. I don't think that I have any problems remaining impartial at this point, but they're all very talented, and we're so excited that they're all coming.
Right, and at this point, you won't even vote because it's going to be celebrity judges.
Correct.
Yes. So, Amy, tell us who these celebrity judges are.
Yes. So we have Ashley Thompson from Kelloland Living. We have Brian Allen from Dakota News Now, a journalist. We have Ben Davis and Patty D from 97.3. And then we have Logan Swanson from Good Times Entertainment.
Oh, it's not a roast because it's a competition. So I won't be roasting the comedians at all, but there's what's that?
I did miss one more.
Oh, yes.
I have one more. It's Mitchell Olson. He's our Survivor contestant.
And also,
South Dakota.
Yes, also the tallest man that's ever been in this house. And seated right where you are.
Gotcha.
You might be the tallest woman that's been in here, though.
Yes, I'm tall.
Yeah. So a great group. And, while it's a competition for the comics, I have to take a few shots at some of the judges.
Yep.
Yeah, because, there's a lot. I'm not even going to let the dog out of the bag right now because I'm holding back and making sure that I've got it polished for that night. Yeah. All right. So it's going to be broken up into two sections. You've got 5 performing.
Yes.
And then the additional 4 after an intermission, of which Blake, Rave, and the Unmentionables will be playing again, won't they?
Yep. And a perfect opportunity to grab a drink. For every drink purchased, $1 will go towards the Junior League of Sioux Falls.
So, we like that.
Yep. Drink up. We're looking forward to that piece.
All right. So tell us your roles with Junior League of Sioux Falls then.
So I've been with the Junior League of Sioux Falls for about 3 years. This year, I serve as the chair of the fundraising committee. So we have different committees within the Junior League, and Lindsey and I both serve on the fundraising committee. So.
All right. And Lindsey, how long have you been involved?
I've been involved with Junior League since last July, so I'm still very new.
Right. So
I don't even think I'm
hopper.
Technically a member at this point. I still have some things to complete. So.
Well, we'll still put you to work.
Yeah. Yes.
Like any organization, always looking for volunteers, right?
Yes. Yep. As a nonprofit, we're all volunteers and just doing the best we can to.
All right. Tell us what Junior League provides then as a nonprofit.
Sure. We are a group of women, and we serve the community by volunteering and fundraising to give back, more or less, to the community.
What types of things have you been giving back to?
The project that we are working on right now is for the Avera Kirby House. So we've committed to a large dollar amount to contribute to the Kirby House. Within the Kirby House, it's a room for children that we're building.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's just one project that we've been focusing on the last year and the next coming years, but there's a variety of different things that we also have done in the past and continue to do throughout.
Yeah, anytime that any organization in Sioux Falls or the surrounding area even always does such a great job, and I recall it's been a few years, but there was like a Dateline or a 2020 or something talking about giving, and they focused on Sioux Falls versus San Francisco, and per capita, Sioux Falls just is over the top when it comes to giving and helping out organizations. And that hopefully makes that fundraising job that the two of you have a little easier, knowing that, it is a good community for this. Have you found it to be that way then, Lindsey?
Absolutely. I'm lucky to work for a nonprofit as my day job as well, and I'm in fundraising there. So it's sort of a natural fit to be on this committee. We are part of such a generous community, and we are so grateful to have the donors that supported this event.
Okay. And so was there a fundraising goal for this particular event? Was there anything that you had in mind, or it's just like, we'll throw it out there and see what we get?
A little bit of both.
Uh-huh.
The district holds 400 people, so the goal is to sell out.
Yeah.
We also did have a sponsorship goal of $5,000. So we do have a number of sponsorships that have contributed to the event as well.
Oh, that's
It
great.
hasn't been finalized yet, but we've been making good headway on that piece.
Yeah, and you got a week yet.
Yep.
There's a week left.
We do. Yep. A few of the ones that have sponsored so far, we have Reliabank, we have CarrierNet, we have South Dakota Trust Company, and we have Woods Law Firm as well.
Well, you see, you're on the right track. You're already headed down there, and I have the feeling that train's going to pull in to the station next Friday night, and it's going to give a big woo-hoo. and I think more than woo-hoo, I think there's going to be a lot of laughter because I, too, have seen a great deal of these people, even funded a few of them at some shows and so forth before. But what's interesting is some of the people that I hadn't seen. And to get to see not only a different comic, but a different comedic style too. And I think that's what the people that go there, not just for the fundraising, not just to benefit Junior League, but also want to see some really great comedy, are going to be excited because it's going to be different types. And even when it does come down to people being similar in type, they all have different bits that they do. And really looking forward to that being showcased. But, it's going to be a tough job for the judges. You sent me the judges' criteria, so I have a little bit about the knowledge for what they're going to have to go through that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some tough stuff.
Some pressure.
Yeah, there is. I guess what I was very happy to see was the detail in it. And, how many, there's certain categories, but there's a lot of subcategories within that. Now, do they actually have a judge's sheet with a total marking for each category?
Yes, they do. So the judges will be holding up a score of 1 through 10, and that's going to be based on 4 different criteria. Professionalism, how do they feel comfortable on stage?
Right.
Are they stuttering? Are they, what are they doing on stage? Help me out, Lindsay.
Sure.
I know there's a couple more that I'm not thinking
we've got
of.
Audience reaction. So obviously,
always a big part.
The more laughter, the better. Originality. So obviously coming in with things that are original.
Don't be telling the same joke 800 times.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the overall score will just be for the performance overall.
Just how they kind of had a feeling for it then, huh? So 1 through 10 on each of the categories?
Correct.
Wow.
So and then it would be an average. It would be an average of those
we're talking, 1 was first place in terms of they're scoring everybody, or they're just scoring everybody 1 through 10. They're not ranking them.
Right. So let's say,
got it.
Yep.
All right.
Let's say they give 10 for originality and a 6 for stage professionalism and a 6 for audience reaction, and then a 10 overall. The average of that would be an 8. So that's what they would hold up on their paddleboard.
Gotcha. See, I was thinking because the following week I have to judge a speech contest.
Oh.
And that's where you do rank them.
Sure.
And so I was getting 2 things confused. Busy schedule this month, no doubt about it. But so looking forward to this. Again, it's coming up Friday, April 14th at the district. Doors open at 6:30. And then they're going to have what will be available for people to do up until the magic starts at 8 o'clock with all the comics.
Well, just to enjoy the band,
Yeah.
Blake Rave and the Unmentionables, starting at 7 p.m., grabbing a drink, socializing, enjoying the atmosphere of the district. It's always a great place to go and hang out with friends and enjoy the night.
And they serve Jack Daniels. So, yes. I know that firsthand somehow. All right. So, again, $35. They can get the tickets at, I want to say,
District
is
SF.
it the District SF?
The District
The
SF,
District SF.
at .com.
.com. Excellent. And we're looking for a packed house. It's going to help out a great organization to help out many other great organizations in town. That's the best part about it. And guess what? You're going to laugh too. And not just at what I wear. All right. Junior League Sioux Falls, Amy Mathis and Lindsey Madsen. Thank you both so much for taking some time to be on the show and tell us about the great event that we have coming up. Certainly appreciate your time.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
And we'll be back with more in just a moment.
Helping women feel empowered and confident is what Posh Boutique at the Bridges at 57th does, while supplying high-quality clothing that fits your lifestyle, personality, and price point. Whether you want comfy and cozy, casual attire, or something for a special occasion, Posh provides quality, selection, and value. They carry sizes extra small to 3X and have something appropriate for any age. Feel empowered and get confident. Posh Boutique at the Bridges at 57th.
Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Tooney know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XO Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation, 605-332-9235 or exokairos.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XO Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
Support the Dave Holly Hour in a very easy way. Buy Dave a cup of coffee by clicking the cup in the lower left corner of www.davehollyhour.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Oh, you know I have to say it, don't you? It's always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire arts and entertainment. I know lately we've had a lot of new guests on. Well, here's a return of a great guest. Sonja O'Steen from South Dakota Music Magazine, but it's really more SoDak Music Magazine if you go online, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Great to have you back. You know, the last time we just talked about you, photography, all the things that you're involved in, going out to, comic or SuperCon and all that. And then all of a sudden in that last minute of our conversation, you dropped this little bit about, well, I'm going to be starting a magazine called SoDak Music Magazine. How's that going?
Well, it's going really, really well. Man, I was just thinking about it today. Like, it's not even been 6 months since I officially launched it. And it has grown so much in that short amount of time. Like, it's like, when the universe is like telling you like you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I've been feeling lately. Like, I'm not one that just automatically will have a smile on my face, but lately I'll be like walking down the street and I'll notice that I'm smiling. So that's kind of weird.
Yeah,
but...
what a great feeling though, huh?
Yeah.
All right, so first of all, let's go back for those that missed the last time around, and since we really didn't get into it, what made you decide you wanted to do this?
So, like we talked about the last time, like I started doing photography again full time. And got in with the Collective Efforts Union, doing shows, shooting shows for them. And I just was blown away by all the talent that is just in Sioux Falls, and started Googling, and there was no music magazine, no one helping promote these people. And I just thought, well, I'm a photographer. I'm a former journalist. I know how to do a website if I have to. Like, why not me? So that's kind of what happened.
So when you jumped into it, what type of trepidation did you have?
So it was one of those things where I will overthink everything. And I know that about myself. And so if I would have really like made myself stop and think instead of just like stepping into it, I probably still wouldn't have launched it to this day. Like I probably would have been like trying to like hire people and do this and that.
You have to make that leap, don't you?
Yeah. Like sometimes you just have to go. And I just didn't think about how big it could actually be.
Okay, so give us an idea of what you thought it would be and where it is now.
It's weird. I didn't really think about it. I just wanted to tell stories. But
do what you love, right?
Yeah. So like, yeah, I mean, like obviously not making any money because, you know, we're artists. so like, it's like, okay, so I need to find a way to do this. And I had people start reaching out to me like, hey, do you need a writer? I can help you write. Like, do you want photography? I can help you do photography. And being a creative my whole life, I got super annoyed having people tell me that they couldn't pay me for stuff. Or like, I can pay you with a byline. It's like, no, that's right, yeah. I got to pay my rent, man. Like that doesn't help me, you know? And,
well, don't you just want to do it for exposure?
Oh my God. It's like, well, yeah, I can get exposure on my own. Thanks. Yeah. Like I don't.
How did you find out about me anyway?
I don't need you. Yeah. Like, so I was just very adamant about not actually like taking any people on unless I could pay them. But as it started growing and like more people started learning about it, I was like, okay, I cannot do this all by myself. Right. And so I kind of had to give in to the help, which is not something that I do at all. Just even in life, I don't give in to the help.
Well, you mentioned, you know, being a creative and, you know, not making much money, but also by being a creative. And all of a sudden, it's your baby of the photography and the writing, and now other people are wanting to do that for you. Is there a little bit of you that goes, they're taking away my steam?
You know, I thought I would have that because I'm very, I like my things, you know? I don't like people touching my stuff. Like if you talk to my husband, if he moves anything in the house, I'm like, where did you put my stuff? Like I'll freak out. And so yeah, like I thought that I was going to have more of an issue with that, but it's nice seeing other people excited about something that I made, you know? And I mean, it didn't really take much. So like, you know, that Sioux Falls and South Dakota, like we just needed something. So, I mean, I even have like, you know, people from out in the hills and stuff like following me now, like they're learning about it. And like, so I think it's going to be big. It's going to be statewide, like, which is what I wanted to do, but I didn't think it would happen this quickly. So,
well, that's fantastic. Yeah. I love hearing success stories like that. And, you know, obviously you still are at the point growing, how far you're going to grow, you know, who knows what will take place.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, tell us about how you've grown with the staff then.
Yeah. So over the last summer, I think I don't know if it was at Four Winds, it was at something at Icon. And I didn't really think about it until she pointed out to me. Her name's Brooke Hamilton Nichols. She's she's another music photographer in town. And she pointed out that there's not a lot of female like music photographers, and that's not something that I ever think about when I go into something. I just don't. Like I'm doing.
Wasn't necessarily a niche of yours?
No. Yeah. Like I mean, it was like back in the day, but it was just like I just want to do this now. Like this is what I'm doing now, and I don't think about the male, female, whatever. It's just become too much like that. I just don't like. I can do this. I'm a girl, but I can do this. Doesn't matter, right?
Right.
But anyway, she came up to me and introduced herself, and she was like, "Hey, I never see any other women like working these, like we're gonna be friends." It was basically like how it
like
went.
Camaraderie, a sisterhood of photographers.
Yeah, and then we just started seeing each other and like saying hi, and she actually didn't know. Like I hadn't told anybody. I was very quiet about starting the magazine. It was like I didn't let anybody know that I was behind it right away necessarily, and like. She found me on Instagram and she sent a message to the magazine saying like, hey, if you ever need help, blah, 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 blah. And I wrote back knowing that it was her. And I didn't tell her that it was me. And then I was like, hey, yeah, I can't pay people right now, so I'm going to wait on that. Like just, you know, was trying to keep it low key. And then I think I saw her out one time and she's like, I didn't know that it was you. Why didn't you say something?
So you were going to be a stealth on this then?
Kind of. Well, because it's like, I'm not. I feel like the Midwest is kind of weird about outsiders. And so like I've only lived here like 3.5 years. And
yeah, but sometimes being the outsider also means you're an expert.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was
wear
like,
a sport coat and carry a briefcase. Be from more than 60 miles away, and they'll pay you for anything.
Yeah. So I was like, it just, and having grown up in the Midwest too, like I know how people are with like outsiders trying to come in and do something.
Very true.
Yeah. And
What are they doing?
Like, who do they think they are coming in here? And I totally was just like, oh, I don't know. So I was like trying to keep it like on the DL right away. But as soon as people found out that it was me, and after they'd seen me at the shows, they're like, are you serious? Like, why didn't you tell people that you were doing this? And I'm like, I don't know, because I'm scared about it being really big. And that seems so stupid that I'm scared of it being successful. But like, it's a lot of work,
In the meantime, as you talk about Brooke, I've seen a lot of her work, been around and been in some of her work.
Yeah, she's great.
So I know that it's good stuff, but I also know that you're a great photographer on your own. That's why we had you on the last time, just to talk about that. And I guess I hope that we will get to see all of your photography along with Brooke's. And then you also have a new writer.
Yeah. His name's Grant Wenzel, and he was one. I had put something, I think, on one of my story, like at the end of the stories, like saying, hey, if you want to work with us or contribute or whatever, like send us an email. And he found that and sent me an email and was like, hey, because he was in the anthology, The City of Hustle. Like he wrote a chapter
or something
in that. And so like I checked out the book, and like I'd heard of the book, but I hadn't like read it or anything. And I checked it out and I was like, okay. And then I like, he sent me like some links to his writing, and I was like, sure, like I'll take the help. And like, he knows musicians around town, and he's, he knows a lot of people. So
right. In fact, isn't he a musician too?
He is. Yeah. So I mean, like he got us a great Work of Wolves story a few weeks ago. He's friends with those guys. And like we've gotten really lucky. He's got one coming up with Brady. Is it Reed?
Brady Reed.
Reed.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was Reed or
He's
Reed.
been on this show 3 or 4 times.
So he interviewed him not too long ago, or had something come with him. He's got a lot of great like historical ideas about stuff. So I'm like very excited to read those once he starts getting into those. So
yeah, and from what I've seen in terms of his music, he does get around a little bit bigger radius in the state than most people do. So as you're sitting there looking at going West River and getting statewide out in the hills, etc., that's obviously going to pay off in spades. Yeah,
so I think like, for not wanting to have the help, I think I got pretty lucky with these two. So like Brooke, I named my creative director because she's very much, she wanted to try to do writing, but realized that's why she's a photographer. So like, she's going to be the creative
Go with
director.
his strengths. Yeah.
Yep. And then right now Grant's like our like editor, writer at large type. So
and then what about your husband? What does he do for the show?
He's just sort of the backup, I guess. Like he's like our multimedia guy. Like he'll go and shoot video so that we can have like video and that kind of thing. Or if Brooke or I can't make it, he'll go and he'll shoot shows for me. So
yeah. And now we need to let people know how to get this.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not just you go to a newsstand and pick it up.
No.
It's the electronic age, people.
It is the electronic age. Yeah, printing is expensive, So that's why newspapers died. Like look at this town. So
208,000 people in 5 pages.
Yeah. So it's really sad. Like I got so excited when I got into newspapers and then realized that they were dying even 20 years ago. So anyway, the website is SoDakMusic.com.
All right.
So
and straight across SoDak Music, no dashes,
no dashes,
anything along that. Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, so that's easy to remember.
Yep.
But what about Facebook presence, Instagram, etc.?
Yep, we're on Facebook and Instagram, and if you just probably search SoDak Music, you'll find it. But Instagram is SoDak Music Mag, and then Facebook, you can just go in the search bar and search.
What has been the most exciting part of putting this together? We heard a little bit of the fear part of doing it.
Well, it's the fear part is the exciting part, though. Like
true,
seeing it become successful so quickly, like that. I have ventured into many things, many little projects in my life, and this is the first time that I feel like this is something that I was really like meant to do. If that makes sense.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Kind of like me at a podcast.
Right. Right.
I think of all the things that I've struggled with and not made it as, each one always being this is going to be it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it also depends on how you define success.
Mm-hmm.
The podcast itself does not make much money.
Sure.
Because it pays for the website and it pays for the place where it gets hosted and posted. Beyond that, though, it's helped me with all my other entertainment stuff make some money. So, and just the fact that, there's over 12,000 downloads on this show now.
That's great.
And I think we're up to about 260 separate people that I've interviewed. And so it's just, you have to define it in your own way. What about you? What do you, because talking about that, is it the smile walking down the street that is your success?
I think it's just the people that I get to meet and the people that like I get to tell their story, where like their story might not have been told without me. Like everybody has a story, whatever it is.
True.
And so like what I tell the staff now is like, I don't want to know necessarily about the music. I want to know about them as people.
Right.
Like, and so usually whenever I sit down with someone, like I interviewed James First Gen last week, and I sat down and I said, so tell me your story. And he just sat there and he was like, don't you have questions? I was like, of course I have questions. But I'm like, just like, who are you? Tell me your story. And he got very like, kind of, I don't want to say intimidated. He wasn't like intimidated, but he was just like, oh,
taken aback.
Yeah, he was great. Like, and then I was like, okay, well, tell me how you got into music, and then went from there.
So when do we get to read about his story then?
It'll be a few weeks. So we're publishing. Originally I was doing it like the old-fashioned way, where I'm like, we're gonna publish this day, and like try to do it traditional to keep myself on task. And now it's kind of on demand. So it'll be like kind of whenever I get it done.
That's always a good thing to have it finished and get the product out. Yeah, no doubt about that.
And we're a sponsor for the Four Winds Music Fest.
Saw that, just came out today.
Yeah,
Saw
and so
he'll
be performing there, and so we're going to use that kind of as like a preview for the show, as well as like telling his story too. So
all right, well, so we have that to look forward to, and that's going to be a great fest.
Yeah.
3 days, if I'm not mistaken, right? At the
Up
Icon?
From 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be at Icon.
Oh, yeah. 2 places.
3.
3?
Icon,
I missed one.
Full Circle Book Co-op and Club David.
Okay.
So it's going to be, so it's 3 venues and 4 stages this year.
That's
and
great.
I think almost 60 performers.
Yeah.
And then like 30 local artists for the art show. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. The art show that comes along with it, too.
Yeah.
And will you be getting into that as well in terms of the art besides just the music?
Like personally, or just talking to people?
Just talking to people and so forth. Obviously, you've got a festival. It's going to be a part of that story.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, because it's part of the festival. But yeah, like it just sort of happened. I was interviewing Corey Church, and it just sort of I became a sponsor during the interview, kind of. So it's one of those things that I didn't really think a lot about it. I was like, yeah, cool, let's do that. Yeah.
I've become a sponsor of a lot of things this past year. All right, I do want to know one question in terms of you, because one of the things I loved in your photography was your photography of musicians, the stage and so forth, and the way you captured it. And as someone that grew up wanting to be a photographer, the jealousy that I had of that, but by the same token, the incredible respect for it. It's like, wow, that is good stuff. So have you, from the people that you've photographed in the past, have you talked to some of them now? And do the photographs pull out that story?
Yeah. So like for, so Pray for Villains. Do you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Jor-El? Yeah. I always tell people, like, I'll say, like the other day I was telling someone, like, we have this incredible metal scene in town. And they're like, we do? And I was like, oh yeah. And then I'll start telling them about different bands and stuff. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, they're the nicest people I have ever met, which is not, I mean, I didn't think they'd be mean or anything, but like, it was just, they're like just sweethearts, because I think they get all their anger out on stage and then they're just like super smiley and like, they're just, I mean, that was not what I was expecting.
Right.
Yeah. Just, especially like Pray for Villains lead singer Jor-El is like, so he's got a presence on stage.
He's out there.
And then to talk to him when he's not on stage and he's just like, hey, what's up? Like,
So to what extent will it be in terms of the music? Are you just going to be focusing in on the musicians, or are you going to be talking to techs, board ops? You're going to be talking to bar owners, etc.? Yeah,
it's kind of everything related to music.
Yeah.
So like today, for example, I actually interviewed Total Drag for their upcoming record store day.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have an upcoming record store date, April 22nd. And
there's great coffee next to it.
Yeah. And so like talk to them about how they got started and how it's grown, and and like they're super cool people, and and I'm planning to I'd really like to talk to people at the Phoenix in Harrisburg.
Yeah.
Yep. And a bunch of other places. And I'm trying to get something lined up with like Dada, the owners of Dada, because they own Dada, Club David, and Parker's. Right?
Parker's, yeah.
Yep. So.
Speaking of the Phoenix, went down there, I think it was 3 years ago already, on a Sunday night to catch some of our friends doing some comedy there.
Okay.
And it's in the back room. And if you hadn't been to the Phoenix before, you will be blown away, possibly by the air that comes out of the speakers. So we go to that back room, and it's like, holy crap. It's wall to wall, and it's huge, but it sounds good, and the whole works, and it's just incredible. And prior to the comedians coming in, here's this group that is just jamming away on a Sunday at about 5 o'clock. And so afterward, when they're finished, I went up and introduced myself, thinking, man, I got to know the name of this band. I want to talk to somebody about this. It's not a band. It's just a bunch of guys. They get together on a Sunday afternoon and jam.
That's awesome. See, that's a story that
yes,
I would
it
do.
is. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So that's why I was curious as to, how far it was going to go in terms of the scope of music.
Honestly, I figured I would start with the bands, the musicians themselves, and then see what happens, And my journalist mind has really started coming back in a big way, and so it's just spiraling. Everything is spiraling in my head to all the stories we could do, and I have to sit back and just say, calm down.
Were you a musician?
I sang in the show choir in high school. I did grow up playing piano. And when the pandemic started, my husband bought me a keyboard because I was in the house for like 2 months straight. Bought me a keyboard, and I kind of got back into it. There's this funny video of me that just popped up the other day of like, it was like week 3 in quarantine, I think, of me playing. Like, I don't remember what I was playing.
Chopsticks?
No, well, probably, but I messed up on it, and I went, oh, and that was exactly how I did. That's how I was when I was a kid. And last year 3 years ago when I posted it, my best friend growing up, she's like, oh my God, it's like being in your living room growing up. Yeah. So I still will sing karaoke once in a while, but yeah.
There we go. There's another angle.
I know.
Yeah, because it'll be Saturday night when I'll be out down in Rowena. Go see Crazy Frank. So where did you grow up then? Because you talked about, being an outsider.
Yeah, I grew up in this really, really tiny town called Sheldon, Wisconsin.
Mm.
I think when I was there, the sign said 298. Or 296, and the last time I was there, I think it said like 250 something.
Oh, so you're going down.
Yeah. So, it was. So, I grew up partially there, partially in the Twin Cities. So we moved to Sheldon when I was like 8, like third grade. So, and then I was there through like my junior year of high school.
Yeah. So growing up in a small town, especially, what was the music scene like? What did you get? How far did you have to go if you wanted to see something?
Honestly, like now I don't think there were any bands. I mean, there wouldn't have been a venue. There was like,
so no local VFW or anything?
I mean, not in my town. Like there was like a bar. It was called the North Star Bar that we could like basically see from my house. Like I lived like kind of on the edge of town, like in town, but like there was this bar that you could see like going out on the highway, and whenever there was like a band there or a wedding, it was super loud. Like we could hear everything, and I always wanted to go, but like I couldn't go, because I was a kid.
Right.
So like I did not grow up with any like all ages stuff or seeing local bands like that. Like there were really talented musicians in my high school, and like they would jam together, but like to put a band together, there was nowhere to play. Right.
So how did it become such a passion for you to photograph and write about music?
My parents have a lot to do with it. Like so they I found the really good record collection once I was like a little bit older. Like, so I don't know that I talked about this last time. My mom had Alzheimer's, and she died when I was 17. So like once she was like, I was probably like 13 maybe when she was diagnosed. So then like during like 13 to 17, I was like digging through the attic, looking at different things, found the really good record collection. Like she had me listening to freaking Donny Osmond's Puppy Love. Right. And I was like, and she's like, oh, your sister listened to this. Cause my siblings are much older than me. And I was like, I don't like it, Mom. Like, I had that. I had like the Chipmunks something Christmas something.
Oh yeah.
And like they were very into like gospel music. Like they were very church going and like all of that.
So Tennessee Ernie Ford, did they have any of him?
Well, we had a lot of Johnny Cash.
Okay.
We had Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
My dad didn't like Willie Nelson. I'm like, how do you not like Willie Nelson? I don't know. He just had weird opinions. He was a big Jim Reeves fan. Jim Reeves? Yeah. So like I grew up with like this gospel country, like that was kind of what I was born into. And then I got a clock radio when I was like 8. And then I started discovering there was other music out there. And
the world.
And then when I was a teenager, I found the good record collection. She had like Jimi Hendrix and Bob Dylan. And
oh my.
Like,
that was in the attic?
Yes. It was like, I thought all the records we had were at the record player. Like, you know, and it was a freestanding record player, one of those old ones.
Oh, the big console that was a piece of furniture?
Yeah, and you had the records inside of it. Oh, I loved that thing. I was so sad that it didn't work anymore. I would have taken it. So like, Jimi Hendrix, Bob Dylan, who else? Supertramp, like she had all this stuff. And I was like, you were holding out on me. Like, how dare you hold out on me? Like, you were cool.
I have this image of a great Saturday Night Live sketch coming to mind now. But, you know, we could have been friends, Mom.
We totally
you
could have
were
been
cool.
I mean, I still thought she was pretty cool, but it made her even cool. I was like, I didn't know you listened to this stuff.
All right, so when you're not part of the world now of entertainment and arts, what do you like to be entertained by?
I watch a lot of Seinfeld reruns.
I've been doing that a lot lately too. I never really watched it when it was on.
I had a friend, because I was being in a small town, like you get involved in every extracurricular activity. So I didn't like, and I guess that makes sense now because I still don't like being bored. So I get involved in too many things, and then, you know, sometimes it blows up. But but I had a friend who would like record like the Thursday night TV blog. So it was like Friends and Seinfeld and whatever else was on. Yeah. And so I would she'd give me the tape on Fridays and then I'd watch it over the weekend. So like I got my Seinfeld education like while it was on TV. But like as an adult, like rewatching it, it's so much funnier than I remember.
Yeah, there are a few of those shows that when you catch them again, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a big fan of the TV show Taxi.
Oh, God,
and, you know, I always loved the Reverend Jim. Oh, Alex, what does a yellow light mean? And I always thought that was one of the greatest characters. But I've rewatched the entire series like 3 times now.
Really?
And now I'm like, Danny DeVito was amazing. That character build-up he had for Louis De Palma was fantastic.
I loved that show. I know I'm younger, but my parents being older, like that's why like I'll ask people, I'm like, did you ever hear of this? Like even my husband, he's only a couple years younger than me, but like I'll say blah 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 blah, and I'll like have like give him a history lesson about something.
Right.
And he's like, how do you even know that? And I was like, because of my parents. Like, you know, they grew up in like the 50s and 60s. So like, that's what they taught me, you know?
And you were talking about your siblings being older.
Yep.
Same for me. I have 2. My sister is 12 years older. My brother is 9 years older. But I remember when my brother got his first stereo. And before that, it was just, you know, we had the little player and so forth, which got me to hear the Beatles because my sister loved the Beatles. And then my brother was all over the map. Perry Como to Inagata Devita by Iron Butterfly.
I think I have a Perry Como record, actually.
Well, I worked in old MOR radio for many years, so I played a lot of Perry Como. But it's just, you know, interesting that you get that. And then the other thing is, you know, when I was in high school in jazz band, you know, another thing we have in common here, in that regard, our band leader, our band director taught us, you know, about past history of music.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's much, you know, I guess music and arts and entertainment in general, history that's being taught.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't grow up listening to Glenn Miller.
Right.
But I sure loved playing him in jazz band and still listen now.
Well, yeah. And like even over like the holidays, like I worked in retail working with, you know, teenagers mostly. And I would say, bring up something. And it's not even from that long ago necessarily, but like before they were old enough to know about it. And they're like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. And then I would turn it into this like, well, back in my day, we didn't even have the internet. And I'll be like, did you know I didn't get on email until my freshman year of college? And their eyes just got so big. Like, but I just, it's so weird to me that I don't know. I guess maybe I'm into history, but also just growing up the way I did. It blows me away.
Miss out
that,
on that cultural history.
Yeah, it blows me away that kids now don't have that. I don't know. It's bizarre.
Yeah, because everything can be made by a computer now.
Yeah.
All right. So then a final question, of course, after the entertainment part is any other hobbies?
I mean, I do dabble in art. Like I've kind of, so like I think I told you on the last show, like I quit my job last summer to focus on my photography and art. And this was before I had conceived the magazine. So now I'm kind of like, I'm magazine all the way and not really dabbling in my art as much. But I do still paint once in a while, but like honestly, like I'm working on the magazine or at my pay the bills job, or like watching.
Doesn't leave much more time for
watching, and then I'm like zoning out watching, Seinfeld.
I still remember years ago a gentleman that was retired and was part of the RSVP here in town, Retired Senior Volunteer Program, and they were giving a workshop on being a small business owner. And a young gal that was going to start her own business, I just can't wait I only have to work half a day if I want. And he said, you're right. When you own your own business, you can choose which 12 hours of the day you want to put into it.
That's true.
Very true.
Yeah, like last night I was up till like 4:30. Working on the magazine.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I had to be at Total Drag by 11, and I almost overslept. Like that's. If you ever catch me on one of those days, that's the real me. So like this is why I look like a hobo today.
Well, you look fine because you're smiling, because you're successful with your magazine online. All right. One more time, tell everybody how they can view this.
So yeah, go to SoDakMusic.com, or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram.
Excellent. Look forward to seeing more, because I threw a few bones your way today beforehand to tell you who you could be interviewing.
Well, you did, and I appreciate that. And I want to go back to your question about like how I got into music, because I think this is really important. So my mom had Alzheimer's, and music was the thing that
would keep her on the good days.
Yeah, kind of kept her with us.
Yeah.
And that's always stuck with me. And I feel like music has such an impact, just no matter what kind of music it is. Like somebody hears a lyric that they relate to, or, my mom hears an old hymn. Like, I mean, she couldn't, get herself dressed, but she would hear someone playing a hymn, and she could not only sing it, but harmonize with the people doing it. Like, and it just like that always sticks with me. And like, that's kind of how I've always kind of been obsessed with music.
Understand.
Yeah.
What a great story. See, there's your story. All right. Sonja O'Steen from SoDak Music Magazine. Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming in and being on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll be back with more of the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Check out the new ceramic studio in Sioux Falls. Conveniently located off Kiwanis Avenue on 5th Street. TJS Ceramics. Bisque, studio time, or finished custom items are available. Visit TJS Ceramics Studio in Sioux Falls today.
Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get that extra special treatment from Quality Nails on South Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Tony provide professional care for your hands and feet, whether you just want the basics or an extra special look with added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself too. Quality Nails. Call for an appointment. 605-334-1463.
He's a bit flirtatious, but most of all, fun. Once again, here's Dave Holly.
Welcome back, everybody. Oh yeah, it's got to be said that it's always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire arts and entertainment. And it is always a pleasure to have this lady on the show because, well, we got a little secret to tell you a little bit later on. Anyway, Emily Wilson.
Hi.
How are you?
Fantastic. How are you, Dave?
If I were any better, I'd be twins.
Ah.
I could get twice as much done.
I could use a
Either that
triplet.
or I'd be twice as lazy. One of the two. Yeah. True. Triplicate. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? Be like that Michael Keaton show that he was in, wasn't it? Multiplicity or something? Yeah, where he got himself cloned several times, and each one was different. That was cool about it. Yeah.
I'm not the person for movie trivia that we would have to reference Mr. Wilson.
Okay.
That,
Yep.
so.
All right. So, anywho.
I wish I had a brain for that, but.
Yeah. And by the way, you truly are Julia Roberts' Sioux Falls doppelganger.
Thank you.
Well, it's meant as a compliment. Yes.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. It's kind of like to be compared to.
And especially since you have played that role. Yeah. But
Shelby, yeah.
But speaking of your acting, next week you are in a show with Monstrous Little Theatre Company, and it is called Independence. And I just found out tonight, prior to our talking, that it's about Independence, Iowa.
Yes. Set in Independence, Iowa.
Iowa.
Which is a real town.
True.
Side note, my grandma grew up close to there and
Really?
went there. Yeah, I visited her a couple of weeks ago. She goes, "Oh yes, I've been there. I remember," and she would talk a little bit about it. And I was like, "Well, that's kind of really fun that grandma's actually been there and she grew up close to there and talked about it and reminisced about it, which is really nice because grandma's 96 now." So
very cool.
Yeah. So anyway, we can get back to
there's but there's always so much to learn from the aged.
There really is.
I know a good friend of mine wants to actually sit down with people and record their histories for their family then. Yeah. And I think that would just be so great. I wish that I had done that with my father. But, I still have the great memories and lots of stories. But anyway, speaking of theater, so Independence is going to be performed next weekend. Dates and times?
April 13, 14, 15, 7:30.
Okay, so that's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
At the Schulte Room at the Washington
Pavilion. Not where it was originally scheduled for.
Yes, we have decided to move it to make it accessible to all because there was not access at, unfortunately, at our previous location. So part of the big theme of Independence is having independence. And since we want to make sure that all people can attend the show, we found a space that is wheelchair accessible and easier to access and maneuver through than our previous space.
So let's talk about the play first of all. What's it about? And then we'll get into your character.
Okay. So Independence is the story of a family of all women. There is the mom, Evelyn, and then there's my character, Kess, and then there's her little sister, Jo, and her little sister, Sherry. And at the beginning of the play, Kess walks in and we find out something happened to Jo, and then it's like, this is why I brought you back, Kess, because several years ago, Kess put mom into a mental health institute and then pieced out. So, and here we are 4 years later, seeing and interacting with each other for the first time since that event. And so it is about the dynamics of the family, the relationship of the family, how they interact with each other, the past they haven't resolved, the future that they have not counted on, and trying to fix that family past to make the future look better and how we're kind of in our way. But then each of the daughters is on the path of finding her own independence from the family subset, which is also something that the previous generation is like, that's no. So it's the story of this family, and it is a roller coaster from the get-go. So it is, my co-stars, Sarah Crosby, Betty Kay, and Greta Smith are phenomenal.
Right.
So much fun to work with, so much fun to work against. Their characters are hysterical. They're maddening. They're crazy. You feel all the emotions of dealing with different family members, and it is intense. And it's just, everybody has their little backstory. Everybody has their history. Everybody has why we have these ebbs and flows with each other, and just how families can manipulate you, how they can make you change who you are, make you kind of question who you are yourself. So it's quite the story. And I hope everyone comes and sees it, because I have a feeling we can all relate to it in some capacity.
Yeah, just from the description you just gave, certainly.
Whether we want to or not.
Exactly. And so tell us about your character then as the oldest daughter.
Yes. So Kess is a professor, and she is very much the character who has struck out to become her own independent person. She has needed to do this for her own well-being, and also because she had the push and drive to change the course of her life rather than repeating the history of the women that have come before her. And so for her to come back, she is challenged by her mom, because this is what happens sometimes when you get back into your home environment. Your parent wants to revert you back to the previous relationship you had with them. And so it kind of pushes Kessa back to who she may have been in the past. And then things happen where she has to break out of that again. So she is very much the character who wants to fix things, but also doesn't know how to do it because she's been out of the family for 4 years. So she's just learning her place back in the family. So she has a lot to contend with. And there's other things in there that I will not reveal. So you have to come to the show.
No spoilers. Yeah.
And find out about Kess.
Is Kess the role that you auditioned for?
It is.
Okay.
Yes.
What drew you to it?
I would say Kess and I would have a lot of differences and a lot of similarities. Also, age appropriate. Yay. Kess is very much a person who has lived her life and has created her space in the world where she has made sense out of the chaos she came from. And also being the firstborn, she's definitely the person who fits into that role of, I am the firstborn, I'm going to come in here, this is what I am in the family, I gotta do X, Y, and Z, and that's that. And as the middle child, I'm much more like the peacemaker, and I am definitely more the free spirit and sort of things like that. So it's very different for me to play an older child who has to also parent the younger siblings. So it's just one of those things where it's like she's more in this box and I'm more over here living my squiggly world line. So, but
did you draw upon your own family for that then?
My older brother might be a little bit of an influence, but I can say that because he probably won't listen to this. So. And also, I would say Kess has a very dark sense of humor to her, which also I feel I have as well. So I really do like her dark sense of humor and the things that she is interested in, how she relates to her sisters, and just kind of you're trying to put herself back in this role of oldest sister and finding who she is, because, you know, her younger sister was 15 when she left. She comes back, she's now 19, you know, same with her middle sister, you know, just the changes that happen between all that growth of 15 and 19 and everything her younger sister went through. So it's very fun to just learn, like, nope, I'm coming in as I am here. And it's like, well, okay, I'm shifting back into my role in this family.
So this is the role that you auditioned for. You just told us why. But what do you hope people get out of your performance as Kess?
Ooh, Dave and the hard-hitting questions.
I get one in per conversation.
You really
That's
do.
It.
What I hope they get out of it is that you can maintain your sense of identity as who you are as an adult. Because I feel it is very easy for us to be pigeonholed back into who we once were, because we spend all this time and then we become independent of our families. We learn who we are. We learn where we are as a professional, as a partner, as a friend, as a person who interacts in this world. And then we get back into these old environments and we very much want to revert back to that. So I'm hoping that you see that there's like a softness and a tenderness to her, that she really does care about these people, because it very much comes off, well, you left and you did this and that, but also it's a form of self-preservation for Kes. And I think we've all also had to go through these phases where we have to do what it takes to preserve ourselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, however you want to look at it. And so understanding that also it's not a bad thing. It's also a thing we have to do to become who we are. And also like trying to help others see who you are as this independent person, but also realizing that sometimes salvaging some things is really painful and really hard. And we all go through these challenges as who we are in our families and where we move about in that world. Mm-hmm. So
how do you get into character? Do you have any rituals you do before you go out on stage, or anything that helps you find that character once again? Because you've had rehearsals, and then you had to go back to your day job and everything else, and family and so forth. Now it's time to go out on stage. What motivates you, and how do you get there?
Well, I'm probably one of these people who likes to do a lot of weird vocal warm-ups, as theater people tend to do, and just kind of give myself a moment of quiet and peace to get into that headspace and review my lines and remember like what's coming next, how do I get there, what's happening, and just get into that headspace. And then maybe do a few of the exasperated sighs that my older brother might do as an oldest child, the exasperated sighs, so find the exasperation of the moment, especially with this character. So
awesome.
So yeah, there's my motivation.
What do you think you bring to a character?
Ooh, God, you said one hard question.
Oh, sometimes I hit them out of the park.
What do
two for two today.
Yeah. Ooh, Dave, fire. What do I bring? I feel I bring my previous experience being a scene partner who listens. I'm also real big on eye contact and making sure that I maintain that through the scene, even when it's really uncomfortable, because I feel like that connection on stage is what really melds a performance. And so just that doing my work outside of it too, learning my lines, figuring out my character, and all the things that makes your character distinct, and also just being willing to come to rehearsal, willing to work, willing to listen, willing to play, and having relationships with the people I'm on stage with. So I feel like that's what I bring, along with some fun and a little silliness.
What was the point that you said, boy, I really want to act?
Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I saw...
No such thing on this show.
I saw Cats the musical when I was in kindergarten.
Kindergarten?
Yes!
Wow.
I know. And then I was
Kindergarten Cats. That'll be your autobiography.
I know. And then I went home. Okay, I'm going to age myself a little. My mom bought the record. And we would put the record on, and I would put on a leotard and paint my face with cat whiskers, and I had to dance and do it. And then I was like, that's it, I'm hooked. I have to do theater. And any little opportunity I had in my little town, I did, school plays, community theater plays, high school plays. I was just like, that's it, I'm doing it. I'm inserting myself. I'm in. I gotta act. I gotta perform like this. I gotta be a cat,
Yeah, I'll be a cat, but by God, just don't ask me to sing.
Do not ask me to sing. You will need earplugs for that.
But we're going to do karaoke sometime. We'll get you to do karaoke because it's a requirement.
I might have to have a few jacks with you for that.
Okay, well, that can be had too. All right, we're going to switch gears, and then we'll come back at the end just to give the time frames and the dates, etc. for Independence. But in the meantime, you happen to be one of the stars of Improv Falls. You just had another great show, and basically you guys are doing about a show a month now, aren't you?
Yep.
And it's fantastic to watch. And are they going to continue to be at the Icon?
For right now, yes. Through the rest of our 2022-2023 season, we will be at the Icon. So our April and May shows will be there. We will have our next show April 28th, and we're going to have a quick turnaround for May 19th.
Oh, May 19th.
Yes.
That helps me decide something on my calendar, too.
Okay. So as of right now, yes. And then I will start booking our 23-24 season after that. And we'll see where the winds take us.
Well, the neat thing is the fact that it's not just your monthly show that you guys are doing. You've been able to go out and do some other gigs in some other towns and so forth. So people are getting to know that fairly well, aren't they?
Yeah, So we just had a show down in Hartley, Iowa, and they were amazing. Here's to Hartley, Iowa. And we were found by this very, very kind man named Nick, and he started following us on Facebook. I think we popped up in his feed, and he started following us, and he'd been following us for like a year and a half. And then they had this big fundraiser for their event center down in Hartley, and he's like, let's bring these guys down for entertainment. And so they did. So hopefully we were help them raise funds for their event center and their place for their kids to have places to play, places to hold events, all these sorts of things. And I just thought that was so cool that he's like, I've been following you on Facebook and we wanted to hire you, which is so neat. And we've had other people come to our shows and then reach out. I was at your show. Do you do private events? Yeah, absolutely. So we've performed for like pork producers. We've performed for other ag businesses. We've gone out to almost as far as Aberdeen. We've performed down in Iowa at Orange City in their band shelter. We've performed down in Sioux City.
Wow, in Sioux County you even performed comedy?
Yes.
Oh, my.
They did laugh.
Oh, good.
We did get them to laugh. They sat real far away, but they did laugh. Let's see. We've been down to Vermilion. We've been Yankton. So we'll travel. We will come to you. So and Bill sets up all of that contract negotiation, all that sort of stuff.
Well, the great thing about that is when you do those private shows, you've got so many more things you can ask for suggestions for your games and so forth.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we really do tailor it to the experience of the event where we are performing. So it is so much more fun for the audience member to, just to experience that.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's improv.
Yes.
But what about, stand-up?
There are these people in my life, maybe named Dave Holly, who are strong-arming me into doing stand-up. And I think I've done a few leaps of faith, and I've tried it, and it still makes me very nervous. But I am 99% sure I am committing to a date in June with you and the wonderful Zach Dresch.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Because Zach had asked me just last week. He said, "Hey, how about Friday, June 23rd? Would you be willing to headline, or not headline, but to feature? Because he's going to be the headline." Yep. I said, "Oh, absolutely." Although I'm sure the language when I responded on the message was a little bit more colorful.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. And he came back, "Oh, that's great," and so forth. And then he said, "And I'm asking Emily to open." And it's like, "Oh, definitely I'm in then." Yeah. So that should be a heck of a good time.
Oh, yeah.
At Boss's Comedy Club and Tea.
Yeah.
So you can have pizza too if you'd like.
Yeah. I will say, since I'm so used to doing improv and just making up everything as I go, and then the actual craft of writing and perfecting a joke is something. Yes.
Well, and there's three different types of things. There are people that tell jokes, and then you've got your improv people, and then when you do stand up, it becomes bits.
Yes.
And that's different, and I don't think people appreciate that enough, because they will tell somebody, "Oh man, you do great. You tell jokes all the time. You should do this." And if that's all you're doing, it's going to be tough to adjust. It's a different world, no doubt about that. But I've heard some of your stuff before.
Some of it's good.
Yeah.
Some of it's not.
Oh, you do great. Especially when you roasted everybody one night. at Zach's birthday party over a year and a half ago now. That was quite well done. well crafted, I should say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And diabetes won that one, didn't it? And then the last time that we worked together, let's see, you were. But when a guy that looks like Santa Claus asks you to do something.
That's right. You say yes because you don't want to be on the naughty list.
Exactly. Yeah. And so now it's going to be a third time.
Yes.
That we will get to work together. And I'm looking forward to that. A very hugely. But that kind of leads us into one other thing that I'm really looking forward to working with you on. Drum roll. The new co-host and co-producer of Vaughty's Modern Day Vaudeville is Emily Wilson.
I'll clap for myself.
Yes. Well, I'd definitely clap for you because you're just fantastic. And so it's we're going to be moving on and doing some new things. And the first show that we're going to have is coming up the first Saturday of June. And it'll be a fundraiser for Mighty Corson Art Players.
Yes.
And looking forward to that. And we're going to hopefully, I mean, I'm crossing my fingers already, we would love to have that be an outdoor show.
Yes.
And if need be, then we move it inside. But the reason we would really like to have an outdoor show is there are some particular variety acts that need a little bit taller ceiling.
Yes.
And so we figured we'd give them the sky if they could give us a great act. So that's where we are right now. But I'm so looking forward to having you as the new co-host and co-producer. And then we're going to turn right around and on 7/7.
Yep.
The location TBD at this point, but we're going to have another show and some of the fine ladies from our broadcast theater in town will be joining us on that because they're going to have a show coming up after that, and they just a little promo scene out of it and so forth. But for those that are unaware, Vaughty's is, as I said, modern day vaudeville, and you know that we've had in the past we've had magicians, we've had singer-songwriters, we've had comedians. And what we really want to do is keep adding to that variety part. So if you happen to be a variety act, get in contact with us. In fact, we have a new website coming out. It's in its early progressions right now. Because we just got some local work done, etc. But there is an official thevaughties.com. Yes. So remember the in front of it. And Vaughties is VAUDIES. So thevaughties.com. And you can email Miss Emily info@thevaughties.com.
That's right.
She will respond to you if you'd like to perform, even if you're one of the regular type acts that we've had in the past. But also, you know, especially if you got something variety, I'll tell you what we're looking for. And, you know, one reason we want to do the outdoor show is we're looking at getting some of the people from Circa Perform to perform for us. Also, it would be great if you're a yo-yo act or a juggler or something along that line. I also know there's some fire acts out there. Would be, yes, and a dear friend that I used to work with is it one. So I think we'll have to do some sweet talking.
Yeah. We were in Duluth a couple weekends ago, and they did a big fundraising event at the place where we were staying, and the end of the night event were baton fire twirler dancers.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this is so cool. Sioux Falls needs this. So it's even cooler that we actually have it.
We do.
Yes.
It's here. We just need to have a space for it.
Yes.
That has a ceiling higher than 8 foot.
Yes.
Yes. So it's on the march. We're going to be getting things ready here soon. And really, first of all, looking forward to seeing you out at Mighty Corson Art Players at the Corson Theater there. And fundraising for them.
Yes.
And then everything back beyond that is going to be golden as well. And I am so happy that you agreed to be the new partner in this venture. And really looking forward to working with you because the times that I've worked with you in the past have all been incredibly great. And I've just been such an admirer of yours from the first time that I saw you do a cartwheel.
Well, if you're having me wear certain dresses or that's part of my costuming, there will be no cartwheels.
Okay.
We'll just leave that.
That's
to
understandable.
The jeans and t-shirt.
Okay.
I was younger, though, when I did that cartwheel. And I'm like,
Oh,
can
not
I
that
still?
much.
Well, I mean, I'm like, can I still do one?
Yeah, just because you hit a particular decade number.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
And
also
just
been
remember, I'm a couple decades beyond.
It's also been a minute since I've done one. Maybe I'm like I'm the kind of person like, when I get outside, I think I'm going to do a cartwheel just to see if I can.
Yeah.
And whether that I should, but just because I can.
And have the cell phone ready just in case 911.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I mean, this is why we wonder why. Because she.
But we love Emily the way she is.
Yeah.
She's fun. Gregarious.
Yes.
What other words would you use to describe yourself?
Busy.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Oh gosh, when they say in interviews, describe yourself, I'm like, oh gosh. Okay. Yes, gregarious, energetic, outgoing, lively. Yeah, all the words.
Yeah.
Just yes, all the things like yes. I'm a
fit.
lover of life. I'm a lover of doing things. I'm a lover of trying new things. I'm a full-on Sagittarius middle kid who wants to do it all.
Yes, Sagittarius.
So
exactly 2 weeks before me.
Yeah. So I'm just that kind of person, and I'm really excited for bodies and seeing, different types of artwork and performance out there, and just seeing what else our community has to offer, and bringing that to the forefront and giving them a space to shine and share the stage with them, and just other ways we can help the art community grow, because you have great visions, you have great ideas, and
the visions come after the Jack Daniels.
Are you sure it's not someone else? Anyway. But
not until it's legal.
I'm just very excited to see what we can do with it, and other acts that have that are out there, and bringing them to the forefront and having that happen.
Yeah. All right. Final 2 questions,
Okay.
of which you have answered before, but, life changes. And so question number 1 might end up answering question number 2.
Okay.
But when you are not part of the arts and entertainment scene, what do you like to be entertained by?
Well, I have these very, very, very spirited children. I have an 8-year-old who is so witty and so funny. Side note,
Takes after mom.
He might be even funnier.
Oh,
We made him watch Lord of the Rings the other night. Finally talked him into it, and he started watching. He's like, "Wow, this is really good. This is really good. This is so intense. I love this." And this is a kid who's like nothing's funny or scary or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So the next morning,
Because he's into that cool age of 8, huh?
Oh, he's a tough cookie. His brother comes home from a sleepover, and he's like, "You need to watch Lord of the Rings with me. It's so good." And my older kid is like, "I don't want to. I don't think it looks good." And he goes, "Look, I didn't think it was going to be good either. I thought it was just a documentary about rings. But it's so much better." And I'm like, "A documentary about rings? Where did you hear this?" He's like, "I didn't. It's what I really thought it was about." I'm like, jeez. So he is. So yes, my 2 kids are very lovely and very busy. They do scouts. I have a kiddo in band, so he's middle school band, so not super, super time intensive, but fingers crossed that he sticks with it, because I just would like him to see him stick with it. And my younger one is also in scouts, and he is going to be playing baseball this summer. And
excellent.
And he finally did a school musical.
Oh.
And he really liked it. And I have been trying, along with one of his little buddies who does DAPA, to get him into DAPA.
Yeah.
So that's my goal there. And then also my beloved husband and I have been hitting the gym, turning in a couple of gym rats, which has been really, really fun. And hopefully I'll be running again because it's been too icy, so I do that. And
are you planning on the half marathon again?
I have made a decision I am not.
Really?
Because I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Okay. But I will be doing a fall event out in Vermont. So
wow.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good for you.
I was like, I just want to go. So
yeah,
bored.
so you pretty well answered question number 2 of any other hobbies.
Well, yeah, running, lifting, children, laundry.
What a hobby.
It's the one we do. So, yeah. So that's that.
All right. Emily Wilson from so many different things. Again, Independence is coming up next week.
April 13, 14, 15 at 7:30 p.m. at the Washington Pavilion Schulte Room.
All right.
Yes.
And get your tickets at the Wash Pav?
At actually monstrouslittletheater.com. Monstrouslittletheater.com.
All right. Theater with an ER or an RE?
RE.
RE. All right. Fantastic. Looking forward to seeing you. We're going to be there on opening night.
Yay!
Yes. All right. And, of course, an improv fall show coming up.
April 28th.
April 28th.
At Icon.
Wow. And then...
May 19th. For improv. Yeah.
For improv, yeah.
Yep.
And then June.
June for Vaudes.
For Vaudes. And July for Vaudes. June 23rd. In the meantime, you're 99% certain that you're going to be doing some stand-up.
Gotta start writing.
All right. It'll be great regardless. All right. Emily, thank you as always for being on the show. Appreciate it. And we'll be back to wrap up the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Comedy magician and hypnotist Jesse Moffat's right. He can't play the piano, but he can sure entertain crowds with his amazing magic and clever quips. His shows always make the participants the stars, especially when they've fallen asleep on stage. They've been hypnotized. Are you the party planner in your group? Then you owe it to your group to make the event magical, even if it puts you to sleep. Here's how.
For booking information, go to Jesse Moffitt Entertainment on Facebook. That's JESSEMOFFITT. Or call 605-929-0964. From the Dipsy Doodle Studios at the world headquarters of Big D Entertainment, a 40-square-foot home studio in the middle of America, it's Dave Holly.
Thanks again to my great guests, Amy Mathis and Lindsey Madsen, Sonja O'Steen, and Emily Wilson. And of course, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. Now well over 13,000 of them. Thanks for sharing, following on social media, and your overall support of this show. If you haven't so far, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Automatically gets you entered for Pizza with a Podcaster. And for all 174 episodes now, go online at DaveHollyHour.com. As the Sioux Falls Arts Council says, together we art. As Arts South Dakota says, home is where the art is. As I say, put some art in your heart. Remember, I'm Dave Holly, and for me, every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by TJS Ceramics, Posh Boutique, The Sky in Tea, Excel Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Jesse Moffitt Entertainment, and Sonny's Pizzeria. If you would like to contribute to the continued success of this podcast, simply buy Dave a cup of coffee. Go to DaveHollyHour.com and look for a coffee cup icon in the lower left. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.